Good evening and welcome. You're watching the NewsTrack. I'm Rahul Kanwal. Was Rahul Gandhi out of line when he said that there's a fight about whether Sikhs can go to Gurdwaras, whether they can wear turbans, whether they can wear khadas? Is this actually the case? Is there really a threat to the Sikh identity and to the right to profess and practice religion? Or is Rahul Gandhi out of line when he makes this charge on foreign soil? That big political face-off is my top focus on the NewsTrack tonight.
Foreign RaGa triggers big row. Now Rahul's Sikh comments spark storm. Will Sikh be allowed to wear turban?
The fight is about whether he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear his turban in India, is going to be allowed to wear a khada in India.
BJP slams dangerous narrative. Reminds Rahul of 1984 anti-Sikh riots.
एक समय था उनके श्री राजीव गांधी के टाइम पे when 3,000 people were killed in cold blood in 1984. उस समय सरदारों को थी एंजाइटी.
Real Sikh bias or fear mongering? That is our big focus on NewsTrack.
On a tour of the United States, leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha has triggered another storm. This time, it's his remarks on Sikhs in India that has sparked a controversy. While speaking about religious freedom at an event in Virginia, Rahul Gandhi said there's a fight about whether Sikhs are being allowed to wear a turban or go to a Gurdwara or wear a khada. The BJP is up in arms, asking the Congress MP, what about the 1984 anti-Sikh riots and where is the threat to Sikhism at the moment?
Rahul Gandhi's anti-Modi, anti-BJP tirade in the US. And this time, while taking a swipe at the centre, he stoked a massive row.
I don't think the BJP, in a fair election, they were nowhere near to.
While speaking at an event in Virginia, Rahul said that the fight in India is about whether a Sikh is going to be allowed to wear a turban, whether a Sikh will be allowed to wear a khada or go to the Gurdwara. His comment drew huge flak from the BJP. Union Minister Hardeep Puri reminded Rahul of 1984 anti-Sikh riots and how Sikhs felt unsafe during the Congress rule.
The fight is about whether he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear his turban in India. Or he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear a khada in India. Or he, as a Sikh, is going to be able to go to a Gurdwara. That's what the fight is about. And not just for him, for all religions.
At least in India, the only time when Sikhs have felt a certain anxiety or insecurity and faced an existential threat was when statements were made कि बड़ा पेड़ अगर गिरता है तो धरती हिलती है. This is as close a justification to targeting of minority communities as I've ever seen in my life.
The Congress later argued that criticizing the BJP was not same as criticizing India.
एक प्रधानमंत्री के पद पर बैठे हुए व्यक्ति लोगों को कपड़ों से पहचानने की बात करते हैं. हिजाब के खिलाफ आपकी पार्टी आंदोलन चलाती है. जो आज हिजाब के खिलाफ आंदोलन चलाती है वो कल सिखों की पगड़ी पर भी आएगी.
I don't think the BJP.
Rahul, who is a strong advocate of caste consensus, stoked another row with his remark on the need for reservation.
We will think of scrapping reservations when India is a fair place. And India is not a fair place. Now, that creates a problem. Because there are many people who come from the upper castes, right? Who say, look, what have we done wrong? Right? Why are we being punished? And so then you think about increasing dramatically the supply of some of these things.
Rahul Gandhi has launched a series of pointed attacks against the BJP at various events in the US. His trip comes days ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's planned visit to America. With Aishwarya Paliwal, Bureau Report, India Today.
Rahul Gandhi also spoke about scrapping reservation, how the elections in India were allegedly unfair, and also hit out at the BJP and the RSS. Listen into some more excerpts of Rahul's speech in Virginia.
3 months before the election, our bank accounts were all sealed. Every single bank account of the Congress Party was sealed. No money for advertising, no money for campaign, bank account band ho gaye. First time, I've myself fought multiple elections, 2004, 2009, assembly, first time in my life, new thing. All the bank accounts are sealed. So he just looked and said, we have no money. And then I looked at him and I said, dekhi jayegi. Dekhte kya hota hai? And that was the spirit we fought the election with. What the RSS is basically saying is that certain states are inferior to other states, certain languages are inferior to other languages, certain religions are inferior to other religions, certain communities are inferior to other communities. This is what the fight is about. We are of the opinion that whether you are from Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, all of you have your history, all of you have your tradition, all of you have your language, and every single one of them is as important as any other one. While I'm in Delhi, some people will, I'm driving in the car, sometimes they make me open the window and they'll say, डर निकल गया, डर नहीं लगता अब डर नहीं लगता, डर गायब हो गया. It's interesting to me that BJP ने कितना, मोदी जी ने कितना डर फैलाया.
We will think of scrapping reservations when India is a fair place. And India is not a fair place. Now, that creates a problem. Because there are many people who come from the upper castes, right, who say, look, what have we done wrong? Right? Why are we being punished? And so then you think about increasing dramatically the supply of some of these things. You think about decentralizing power. You think about involving many more people in the governance of our country. Right? You think of opening up, frankly, with all due respect, I don't think any of you are ever going to become Adani or Ambani. And there's a reason for that. You can't. Because those doors are closed. So the answer to people in the general caste is you open those doors.
Mr. Gandhi, you lead the Indy Alliance, which is seen by many as an alternative to the BJP-led NDA government. Looking at the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, your party was not able to agree on seat-sharing policies with your alliance partner, which was Mamata Banerjee's TMC. My question is, if elected, how will you effectively run a government with such a divided coalition that cannot seem to agree on anything except for the removal of Prime Minister Modi?
It's not India Alliance. That's a BJP framing. It's India Alliance.
What's the last word stand for? What does the A stand
Alliance.
for at the end? So wouldn't it be redundant to say India
No, it's not. Because Because the whole idea of the alliance was to put across to the people of India that India is being attacked. And it was very successful.
Let's spend some time looking at what Rahul Gandhi said in the United States. The government thinks he's out of line, he's giving India a bad name. The opposition and the Congress, of course, think he's fighting a good fight. Joining us on the broadcast right now, I want to welcome, representing the ruling BJP, Pradeep Bhandari. Welcome. Shama Mohammed from the Congress Party, and with us for alternate point of view, I have Abhijit Ayya Mitra, Senior Fellow at the IPCS, and Sanjay Jha, well-known political analyst. I want to take what Rahul Gandhi said about the Sikh community, which has become the latest flashpoint. The fight is about whether a Sikh is going to be allowed to wear his turban in India or a khada. Or, as a Sikh, is he going to be able to go to a Gurdwara? That is what the fight is about. It's not just for him, it's for all religions. Shama Mohammed, I want to start by asking you, who in India, any Sikh, name one person, who's been stopped from going to a Gurdwara, wearing a khada, wearing a turban? Rahul Gandhi says that all this is somehow in jeopardy. I mean, I live in this same country. I know that the Sikh community has problems with this government, and that's a different matter. But who has been stopped from wearing a pagdi, a khada, or going to a Gurdwara?
Okay. Rahul, let's understand the whole speech. It's a metaphor. What he meant is one cannot practice the religion. There is no freedom to practice your religion. For example, Sikh cannot wear a khada, or a Muslim girl cannot wear a hijab when she wants to go to the college. There were various issues when the BJP was ruling Karnataka. We know
let's just stick to the khada, turban, Gurdwara analogy, because Rahul Gandhi says that the fight is about whether Sikhs are going to be allowed to wear turbans, suggesting that there's someone stopping them from wearing turbans or someone stopping people from wearing khadas. As a Sikh, can people go to the Gurdwara? So yes, my question is, who has been stopped from doing this? What is this charge about?
What Rahul Gandhi is trying to say here is also about what happened during the farmer protests. The Sikhs were called Khalistanis. They were called Atangwadi. They were called urban Naxal. A young boy by the name of Subhakar Singh, a Sikh boy, was killed. More than 700 farmers died during the farmer protests. Did Mr. Narendra Modi say a word? Where was he there for our Sikh brothers? I want to know today.
No, so that's a different argument. Listen, the fact that some of the union ministers were out of line in how they characterized the farmers who were protesting is a different matter. If Rahul Gandhi had raised that, we would have supported him. The question I'm asking is, Rahul Gandhi says wearing a turban, a khada, and going to a Gurdwara is in danger. That can you do this? That is in question. I'm asking you, where is it in question? Who's been stopped from wearing a khada or going to a Gurdwara?
No, what he's trying to say is, if you're going to call a Sikh Khalistani, if you're going to call them urban Naxals, tomorrow you will do this also. How do we know? Sikhs have fought for us. There are a lot of Jawans in the army from the Sikh community. They are the ones who feed us. Punjab feeds the whole of India almost before, during the Green Revolution, everything. Those people were called Khalistanis. Those people were called urban Naxals. When 700 of them died, why didn't Mr. Narendra Modi go to the Singhu border? Why didn't he say...
You aren't answering my question, Shama Mohammed. Shama Mohammed, you are saying things that Rahul Gandhi didn't say and not explaining what he actually did say. Shama Mohammed, with respect, just listen to my question and try and explain just what... I'm genuinely as perplexed can be. Rahul Gandhi says there's a fight at this moment about whether a Sikh is going to be allowed to wear a turban in India or a khada or not. Or as a Sikh, can he go to a Gurdwara? I'm saying, where is this fight? Which one Sikh has been stopped from wearing a khada, stopped from going to a Gurdwara? Ma'am, I live in this country. It's my job to track the news. Who's been stopped from wearing a khada or going to a Gurdwara?
Rahul, there are instances. He meant the larger thing is there are instances where the Muslim community is lynched. Now, lastly, a poor boy was lynched, Then you have I don't want to take the community name. So you have Christian churches burned down. You have a Stan Swami who did not get a straw. So we have various issues. He's talking about the larger picture. Try to understand what Rahul Gandhi is saying. You cannot practice in this country what you want to, whichever religion you want, except one particular religion. That is what this government is all about. And what he clearly says over here is, I want to ask the minister who did today.
Ma'am, Shama Mohammed. Shama Mohammed, many in the Sikh community have many problems with this government. Of that there is no doubt. Not one of them has said that they've been stopped from practicing their religion. The only time in recent memory when Sikhs were attacked was during the anti-Sikh riots that happened in the mid-80s.
When somebody is called a terrorist, when somebody is called a Khalistani, tomorrow they'll say, no, we don't want also the Gurudwaras here. How do you know that?
But who has said that? Who has said that we don't want Gurdwaras in India? The Prime Minister, the Home Minister, the RSS, whenever they speak of how close they are to the Sikh community, how fond they are of the Sikh community. That's all that they say.
Of the Sikh community, why didn't they stand with the Sikh brothers when 700 of them died? Why did the Home Minister, why did the Prime Minister of India condole those deaths? They didn't condole. They were shot at, and they were, see, even if their ministers are called Khalistani, the Prime Minister can come out and say, listen, I do not want anybody calling my Sikh brothers Khalistanis. I don't want anybody calling them urban Naxals. I condole the deaths of the 700 farmers. I feel for them.
Okay, so let's pause that for a moment. I know that this was said off camera, but it wasn't said as publicly as it should have. That's a different matter. I want to ask Pradeep Bhandari. Shama Mohammed says, zoom out, look at the larger picture. It's not just the very words that he used. He's trying to make a point that non-Hindu religions aren't given the same space to operate and practice as the Hindu religion is. This BJP government is more about the Hindu faith than it is about Islam and Sikhism.
Rahul, good evening to the viewers of India Today, and thank you so much for having me on your show. Rahul, Mr. Rahul Gandhi is attempting to manufacture divisions and create fault lines in the Indian society which does not exist. Let me just start by quoting the 1984. This is the only time the Sikhs in India feel threatened. This is the testimony of Harsimrat Kaur, a survivor of the anti-Sikh 1984 riots, where Jagdish Tytler, a Congress representative, a senior Congress leader who was the part of AICC, against whom the court has ordered framing of charges, was responsible for inciting riots against the Sikh community. So if I look factually, Rahul, in the recent history, this is the only time when the Sikhs have feel threatened. Now, I want to put forward the intent of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government. For 70 years, the Sikhs were waiting for Veer Balidan Divas to be honoured, the four Sahibzadas to be honoured. It was Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government which ensured it happened. The Kartarpur corridor was opened by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It took 70 years for it to happen. In Afghanistan, if you remember how our Sikh brothers were brought in. So the intent of the Prime Minister has been laid clear in the policy decisions, in his statements, and not once has the Prime Minister made a statement against our Sikh brothers. In fact, he has honoured the valour of the Sikh brothers in supreme sacrifice for our country. My issue, Rahul, is, and my charge here is, number one, that Mr. Gandhi is trying to create a fault line. It's just not to do with the Sikh brothers. It is also to create a linguistic fault line. And I want to quote Mr. Rahul Gandhi when he says that India is not one entity and is consistently engaged in an intense linguistic war. Please tell me, Rahul, where is the linguistic war going on? My memory tells me the only linguistic war which was going on when Mr. Rahul Gandhi called the people, the residents of non-Jammu and Kashmir, as outsiders, when Charanjit Singh Channi from Punjab called the people of UP, Bihar and asked them not to enter, and Priyanka Vadra was there. And in Karnataka, when the Congress party tried to impose 100% reservation for the Kannadigas, and it was taken back.
Okay, so just one second. Sanjay Jha, Rahul Gandhi has been attacking this government. He's often in the past also known to have fired a few blank shells, right, where he fires, the round misfires. Do you think this is a case of an attack misfiring? Because if, for example, he'd said something about, Muslims feeling persecuted and they're not being allowed to practice their religion, or they feel this way, that's a different matter. He cites mob lynching, cow vigilantism. Those are valid attacks. When he says Sikhs are being stopped from going into gurdwaras, that they're being stopped from wearing khadas or wearing turbans, everybody's scratching their head and saying, who is he talking about? I mean, given the fraught relationship his family and his party have had with the Sikh community, what do you make of the attack and the location where this was delivered?
Rahul, first and foremost, I think the Congress party needs to be, shall we say, I won't say congratulated, but they need to be admired for standing up for the Sikh community after the horrific 1984, the entire ugly configuration that happened. And I think that has to be strongly condemned. But in appointing Dr. Manmohan Singh, which was a choice that the Congress party made, I think it was a great act of redemption. But I need to answer your question because it is an important question. I personally feel Rahul Gandhi should have kept it at the religious persecution of the minorities across the board. Shama is right that the government of Mr. Modi calling all kinds of extremely, I would say, contemptible, outrageous and insulting remarks on protesting farmers told you that their entire approach ideologically to the Sikh community was extremely disparaging, and I think to that extent Shama is absolutely right.
Well, let me ask you a very specific question because I'm getting a very whataboutery type answer. The question is very simple. The fight is about whether a Sikh is going to be allowed to wear a turban in India or a khada, or he as a Sikh, is he going to be allowed to go to a Gurdwara? That is what the fight is about. Can you tell me any Sikh that you know of who's been stopped from going to Gurdwaras or stopped from wearing turbans or wearing khadas? Do you think this comment is right or is it wrong? Just respond to this question, Sanjay Jha.
Rahul, I'm going to basically take the bull by the horns. The truth is that if you read Rahul Gandhi's statement, it is talking not about what is, it is talking about what is potentially possible in a country where polarized politics is assuming a very monstrous form. I mean, his basic premise of his statement is not that today a Sikh is not allowed to go to a Gurudwara or he's not allowed to wear any other religious symbol. He's saying that because India is becoming highly intolerant, where there seems to be a majoritarian sentiment that is sold day in and night out by the political powerful warlords of the BJP, are you going to shift the minorities into a corner where they will not be able to live their life in the manner in which they do? I think the larger import that I would like to add before you move on is even looking at the conversation in the Uniform Civil Code, where you have to indulge in conversations with stakeholders. This government seems to be like, I will railroad anybody.
Okay, hold that thought. I don't want to get derailed with the UCC in this debate. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Sanjay Jha's argument is that he's not talking about what's happening now, but because the charge is that India is becoming intolerant, that a majoritarian sentiment is gaining ground, therefore at some point in time in the future, some Sikh may be stopped from going into a Gurdwara wearing a khada or wearing a pagdi, which is what Rahul Gandhi is trying to highlight while he's on the United States soil. Do you buy that?
Well, Rahul, he was talking in the present perfect. He wasn't talking in the future tense. Let's be very clear about that. So even as metaphors go, if you're talking about the future tense, then you talk about the future tense, use future tense. You play his clip again. Everything he's saying is present tense as if it's happening right now. Right? This was not metaphorical in any sense of the word. In fact, I've always said this, since Rahul hates teleprompters so much. Rahul should be, some wise teleprompter company should take Rahul as their brand mascot for their company, because nobody needs a teleprompter more than Rahul. Let us first understand where he has made this speech. In the United States of America, where not just the current serving Indian minister Hardeep Singh Puri, who was at that time our permanent representative to the UN, but also a Canadian cabinet minister, Navneet Bains, were forced to take off their turbans for scanning at airports. Has that ever happened in India? My first cousin is married to a Sikh. Many temples in Kerala and Odisha have this sign outside saying non-Hindus not allowed. Sikhs are never stopped. They are allowed inside the Jagannath temple. They are allowed inside temples in Kerala as well. They are not treated any differently. So you forget Gurdwaras. They are even allowed inside temples. Who is stopping them from doing this? The problem is, if he wanted to talk about dresses, he could have started with the hijab. Okay, there is a hijab controversy going on at the moment. He could have talked about it. No, he specifically takes a state where separatist sentiment is rising at the moment. So this was not a metaphor. This was done very, very deliberately. It was said in the present tense. Grammatically, factually, strategically, everything points to what Rahul absolutely meant what he said. Second, there were some points raised by my dear friend Shama. 700 farmers died during the protest. There is no documentation for this figure, number one. The ones who died, we have it documented on camera. There was the tractor driver. I know your channel got into a bit of controversy because of reporting about it. We saw exactly what happened with that tractor driver when his tractor capsized. On the other hand, we have seen those farm protesters, so-called farm protesters, essentially feudal lords masquerading as farmers coming in Fortuners, going around ransacking the Republic Day celebrations, tearing off the Indian national flag and putting up the Khalsa flag, beating up policemen. In other places, they've hacked off limbs of people for Beadabi and God knows what else. They were uprooting telephone poles till they found out it was Canadian-owned and not Reliance-owned. Do I need to even go on with that list? Next, Khalistani, very important. Just one last point, Rahul. Remember, there were many, many people in that farm protest who were actually waving Khalistani flags. Let me show you a photo right now of Bhidran Wale at the farm protest. Is that Bhindranwale or is that not? Simple sa sawal hai.
Okay, let's just hold this one by one.
I'm sorry.
I want to play out Rahul Gandhi's comments so that everybody just listens to it. I played it earlier at the show. We'll play it once more so you can listen to about whether he's saying it about what's happening at this moment in India now, or is he referring to a distinct threat about something that may happen in the future. So listen once again to Rahul Gandhi and then we'll build on the thread of this conversation.
The fight is about whether he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear his turban in India. Or he, as a Sikh, is going to be allowed to wear a kada in India. Or he, as a Sikh, is going to be able to go to a Gurdwara. That's what the fight is about. And not just for him, for all religions.
Shama Mohammed is speaking about what seems to be happening now in his view. Now, as Abhijit Ayamitra said, if he'd spoken about hijab, there would have been an actual political punch to deliver, because there have been in states like Karnataka controversy around whether girls can wear a hijab and come to educational institutes or not. That's a point you can actually make. But when it comes to wearing a khada or wearing a pagdi or going to a gurdwara, will you accept that it wasn't delivered? When you're an opposition leader, you have to land your punches, that he flung this punch, and everybody's wondering, where is he just flailing around? Do you think this was a misdelivered punch?
No, I do not. He said in the end about all religions. So he just took a viewpoint, because Sikhs have been abused during the farmer protest. And I don't agree with Abhijit Iyer Mitra, who thinks that nobody died in the farmer protest. He's behaving like his favorite MP, Kangana Ranaut, who who says that there were women being raped and things like that. See, the farmer protest happened and people died, and you are an anchor as well as a journalist. You know that more than 500 people have died, Rahul. Will you deny it today on television that they have not died? Because Abhijit Iyer Mitra needs to be taught a lesson today, because he is denying it. Now, let me come to point number 2, is who is the one during the Lok Sabha elections? We know the Supreme Court has given a directive to police that they shouldn't be hate speech. I heard Ghuspetia coming in, they are going to take your wealth. That is what the Prime Minister of India said. And who's the Ghuspetia? Muslims. Then they are going to take your behas to the Congress party, will take your behas and give it to somebody. They will take your Mangal Sutra and give it to somebody. See, remember, these things incite people. They start hating a particular community. Who said during 2017, Khabristan mein jagah hoga, lekin Shamshan Ghat mein there will be you will not get any space for the Shamshan Ghat, but you will get for Khabristan. So he's dividing us on our deathbed, Rahul. Kapde se pata chalta hai kaun hai jo aag jalata hai. From your clothes, we understand who will burn this particular thing.
Okay, so let Pradeep Bhandari respond to that.
I also want to play this.
हिंदुस्तान बर्बाद आपकी ये कोई देश है, ये कोई सरकार है, ये कोई लोग है, चलो छोड़ो चले जाएंगे.
So he's saying हिंदुस्तान में जन्म होना पाप है, पाप. ये कोई लोग है, ये कोई देश है. Is this
I get the thrust of your argument, and let's put that question to Pradeep Bhandari, because one of the BJP's problems with Rahul Gandhi waxing against the government of the day from abroad is that why is he doing this in the US? Rahul is so anti-national, anti-sanskari. Now there are enough clips of Prime Minister Modi himself in his current capacity, in his previous capacity, talking about all that was wrong with the Indian system while he was abroad. So if Prime Minister Modi can do it, then why not Rahul Gandhi?
Rahul, the difference is that...
Shama Mohammed, let him speak. Okay, Shama, you've spoken. Let Pradeep Bhandari speak. 1 second, please.
The difference is, Rahul, that Prime Minister Narendra Modi does not act like Rahul Gandhi and is not silent, and the BJP is not silent when Omar Abdullah, alliance partner of Rahul Gandhi, bats for a terrorist Afzal Guru. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is absolutely not silent when the rights of Dalits are snatched in Jammu and Kashmir, which was happened for 70 years. The success of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's policy is Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra playing snowball in Jammu and Kashmir, which they could not do in Congress rule. Rahul, no amount of bluster can replace facts, and I just want to quote facts. if the intent of Rahul Gandhi was clear, Rahul, then please tell me when the court on August 2024 directed charges to be filed against Jagdish Leitler, who incited the mob against the Sikhs. Why is Jagdish Leitler still continuing to be in the Congress party? Why is Congress party endorsing a Sikh riotist Jagdish Leitler? And last time I remembered a majoritarian totalitarian regime, which was Indira Gandhi's regime, which had instructed the state to enter the prestigious Golden Temple. Last I remember Rajiv Gandhi saying that a big tree falls, tremors will happen. They had justified the killings of the Sikh. So if I talk facts, and I'll tell another fact, Rahul. We are with the Constitution of India. Rahul Gandhi just picks it up. What did Rahul Gandhi say in the United States of America? That he can remove reservation in India. And for Shama Mohammed, infiltrators are all Muslims. For us, we have not said that. We said the word Gusbaitia. But it is unfortunate that Shama Mohammed considers the Muslims of this communities as Gusbaitia. She is declared on your show because Prime Minister Narendra Modi never used the word Muslim.
Okay.
He said infiltrators. But Shama Mohammed's societies, her mindset is that she wants to brand the Muslims as infiltrators to get some votes.
Abhijit Iyer, now there are two things here. One, oftentimes when BJP leaders have gone abroad, and there are more than enough clips to show that, they've attacked the government of the day. So do you accept that it's fair game for Rahul Gandhi to attack the government even though he's abroad? Because the BJP seems to be opposing that, not looking at their own past track record. And secondly, Prime Minister Modi goes to the US next in a couple of weeks from now. Right? So as that happens, has Rahul Gandhi in some senses gone and set the stage, set the narrative from an opposition lens in the US, because he's in DC, he was in Dallas. So as he does all these events, he's gone and put his perspective, and it's the PM who will have to come and counter that when he comes towards the end of September.
No, I don't. I don't think the BJP doing it is any more forgivable than Rahul Gandhi doing it. I would remind you of a press conference that Indira Gandhi held at the Claridge's during emergency, post-emergency, when she was out of power, where she was asked several leading questions by, I think it was Dimbleby, if I'm not mistaken. And her one sentence answer was, "I don't criticize my country abroad." And I wish the Janata Party government hadn't done so either. So, he's going against what his own grandmother said and did. Congratulations to him. Just to set the record straight.
Speak about Modi.
Sure,
Shama Mohammed, do not interrupt in this fashion. You expect the courtesy to be allowed to complete your comments. Extend the same to Abhijit.
I think it's wrong on both ways. But if he thinks he's preempting Modi, I wish him success for sure if Modi is forced to respond to the talking points that Rahul has set. Though I suspect it's going to be very much different, and Rahul might have to come back to a lot of what Modi has to say abroad. That said, since the point was made that now Shama herself has accepted 700 is down to 500. Shama, can you name 5 of the protesters who died?
Why should I name them?
5
Who are you? No. We have Rahul Kanwal sitting here. He is a journalist. Rahul, please tell how many people have died.
No, but we don't know for a fact, because when this question was asked, the numbers that you're quoting... Of course, nobody died is not correct, right? No, 1 second.
Just 5.
No, 1 second. I think both of those are exaggeration. Of course, people died. Many of them were old and had all kinds of morbidities, and some of them did pass away. But whether they are 500, 700 or far fewer, we don't know for a fact. Those are the numbers that have been given by the farmer organizations. The fact also is that the government didn't keep count. So we have that vacuum of data, but that's not the point over here, and I don't want to get caught over there.
And were they killed? Did they die or were they killed? That's a very important thing.
No, they died because they were out in the cold, and some of them had lots of health issues because many of them were old. Okay.
I go hiking and I fall off a cliff.
Sanjay Jha, this is a battle of narratives that's being fought abroad. Prime Minister Modi goes from the 3rd week of September to the United States. He will give the spin is part of what's at play. An attempt by Rahul Gandhi and the Overseas Congress to try and get there before PM Modi does and set the narrative. So it's the PM that has to respond to what the leader of the opposition is saying.
Yeah, Rahul, the pertinent point is that Rahul Gandhi is now there as a leader of the opposition. So technically, he represents over 50% of the people of India. And, it is protocol, right, that the leader of opposition in most democracies are seen and respected like a shadow prime minister. So everything he says has the gravitas to actually get Mr. Modi to respond to it when he visits it. That is, if at all, he holds a press conference, which he hasn't done for the last 10 years. The larger point, Rahul, that I would appreciate that the BJP now needs to grow out of, instead of sounding so immature and, in my opinion, pretty infantile, is that Rahul Gandhi said this abroad. Let me tell the BJP spokesperson, number one, that today when Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have a debate, it's going to be heard not just in the US, it's going to be heard all over the world at the same time. What Rahul Gandhi has said in the United States is no different from what he says in India. I think what bothers them is that Rahul Gandhi is speaking the truth and it is getting huge amplification all over the world. The second point, which is very important, Rahul, and I want to make this point here, is that end of day, Indian politics need not be so fearful and, kind of inhibited that you can't discuss what your issues are. I mean, for God's sake, we out here debate what's wrong with America and what's happening in Ukraine and what's happening in Gaza. People will talk about India. We're a fascinating country. We're a big economy. But people are worried about sectarianism. People are worried about an authoritarian culture.
Pradeep Bhandari, it surely can't be the BJP's expectation that he'll go abroad and start speaking well of this government. I mean, he's the leader of the opposition. He will give the opposition's perspective. And I remember comments made by senior BJP leaders where they spoke of what a mess the Congress had left while they were abroad. I was sitting in the audience listening to them.
Rahul, I hope that the advisors of Rahul Gandhi at least tutor him better, that he knows the full form of the India Alliance. That is point number one. It is not about criticism of the government, Rahul. It is about speaking falsehood against the Sikh community. It is speaking falsehood against the Dalits. It is saying that the Dalits, he will end the reservation for Dalits. That is what he said that he will do at some point or the other. And it is a right to question it. It is about speaking falsehood and saying that India should learn from China, which has an employment surge. But the reality is that China has an unemployment crisis. So you can go and criticize, no problem. But do not speak falsehood about the Sikhs, the Dalits and the Bharat identity. Why is he speaking that there is an imposition of Hindi in Karnataka, Telugu? Why is he trying to manufacture fault lines outside India? Have you heard Mr. Donald Trump, Kamala Harris come in India and speak about domestic issues? I have not come across, and they've not lied about their country. Rahul Gandhi has exactly done that.
Okay, Shama Mohan, is it not better for him to present his version of India or his idea of governance rather than diss the current government? I mean, it does leave an unsavory taste in the mouth.
No, he says one thing is reservations have to be removed. Of course not. He never spoke about that.
I said when there's a fair India, then when there is a fair.
And also, why is the Prime Minister of India not ready for a caste census? I want you to tell me today, Pradeep Bhandari.
Rahul,
is the Prime Minister of India ready for a caste census?
Himachal, Telangana, they not released caste census. What are they saying?
He spoke about Kashmir.
Where have they released caste census in one of the Congress ruled states?
Prime Minister
have they forgotten what Indira Gandhi said on caste?
Talk about that. Number 3, the Prime Minister of India stands with rapists. He has not even gone to Manipur.
Lie! It's a lie. Do not misquote the Prime Minister. It's Rahul Gandhi who stood with the rapists and not spoken on the RG car. It's Rahul Gandhi who's not spoken on Mohit Khan. It's Rahul Gandhi who's given tickets to
I can't have both guests speaking at the same time. That's not how we run debates.
This Rahul is lying about the Prime Minister. Prime Minister never backed the rapists. He's lying on it.
I didn't interrupt him. Please ask him to keep quiet.
Okay, very quickly. I'm out of time.
Let me finish. Rahul Gandhi goes abroad because there are certain things in this country like hate crimes which is happening. The Supreme Court has told police to take action on hate crimes, but they continue to happen after 11 years. What is happening in Haryana? What happened in Maharashtra? Is this my country? Why is the Prime Minister of India not stopping these things?
This is ultimately a battle of narratives.
Why is there no president's rule in Manipur?
She could not explain the Sikh statement once, Rahul. That tells you how Congress repeatedly lies and manufacture conflicts. That is how Congress tries to earn political opportunistic points. This is why we disagree. You can be a constructive opposition, but do not manufacture false lines in our country.
Okay, I'm out of time. I want to thank our guests. There can be no agreement on this issue. Rahul Gandhi has spoken. The Congress is defending what he's saying. The BJP very naturally trying to find fault with it. You heard different points of view. Is there a Sikh who's been stopped from going to a Gurdwara or wearing a khada or wearing a pagdi? You know, you and I live in the same country. You can think about this and come to your own conclusion. Is there a conspiracy to target the Indian Railways? A day after an LPG cylinder and petrol were found on the tracks in Kanpur, another train accident was averted in Ajmer. This time, cement blocks were found on the railway tracks. The Modi government has cited 18 incidents of attempted sabotage since August alone.
September 8th, Ajmer, Rajasthan. September 8th, Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh. September the 4th, Solapur, Maharashtra. India's trains are being targeted serially in a sinister bid to derail them and cause death and injuries to passengers. A train in Rajasthan's Ajmer had a close shave after hitting massive cement blocks weighing 70 kilograms, which were put on the tracks. The Rajasthan government has formed a special investigation team to probe the incident.
मुकदमा दर्ज कर लिया गया है 173/24 150 152 रेलवे एक्ट और 3 PDP एक्ट में एज एचओज उच्च अधिकारी मौके पे हैं बाकी टीमें गठित कर दी गई हैं इन शरारती तत्वों का पता करने के लिए पता लगते ही शीघ्र गिरफ्तारी भी की जाएगी.
The train fortunately didn't derail despite hitting the cement block.
8 तारीख की रात करीब 10:30 बजे कुछ शरारती तत्वों ने या कहें कि साजिशकर्ताओं ने सीमेंट के बड़े ब्लॉक करीब 70 से 1 टन के बीच के वो ट्रैक के बीच में रख दिया और ट्रेन जो है मालगाड़ी सीधी उनसे टकराई. आप देख सकते हैं कि कुछ टुकड़े जो हैं वो अभी भी यहाँ पर पड़े हुए हैं.
The same modus operandi was used in Solapur on September the 4th when a mammoth concrete slab was placed on the railway tracks. But the loco pilot of the train fortunately saw the concrete and applied brakes in time, thereby averting a collision and saving lives. Meanwhile, an ISIS role was found in the Kanpur train sabotage, where a gas cylinder and petrol bomb were put on the tracks to target the Kalindi Express. A probe is pointing at suspected involvement of the ISIS Khorasan module. Similar attacks on trains were carried out in Madhya Pradesh back in 2017. The Kanpur police has questioned more than 100 suspects so far. At least 30 suspects have been taken into custody. The government came out with data revealing that 18 cases of train sabotage have taken place since August the 1st and 24 train attacks in just 2 years.
अभी तक कांग्रेस की जुबान नहीं खुली है. राहुल गांधी न कालिंदी एक्सप्रेस पर बोल पाए हैं और न पीछे के रेल दुर्घटना पर बोले हैं. मेरा आरोप फिर है कि राहुल गांधी कांग्रेस का क्यों नहीं जवाब आ रहा है. क्या कांग्रेस का ही टूल किट काम कर रहा है?
The Congress and Samajwadi Party, however, have trained their guns on the BJP government, calling it a huge failure.
लगातार ट्रेन की पटरी पे घटनाएं हो रही हैं और भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार पूरी तरीके से असफल है इन घटनाओं को रोकने के लिए. इन घटनाओं को रोकने के लिए भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार को कठोर कदम उठाने चाहिए. जो एजेंसियां हैं उनको अपना काम करना चाहिए.
आतंकी घटना की साजिश की जांच होनी चाहिए, इसमें कहीं कोई दो राय नहीं. लेकिन आतंकवाद पर जिस तरीके का विलाप भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार अपनी नाकामियों को छुपाने के लिए कर रही है, वो एक शोचनीय विषय है.
Are terror groups trying to bleed India now using trains used by lakhs of passengers daily? With Simar Chawla in Kanpur and Chandrasekhar in Ajmer, Bureau Report, India Today.
1 month on, the fight for justice for Abhaya continues. Protesting doctors at the RG Kar Medical College in Kolkata are yet to report to duty. This despite the Supreme Court setting a deadline of 5 p.m. for them to return to work. The doctors are adamant they want the health secretary sacked. Will this doctors versus Mamata government showdown end or escalate? Take a look at this report.
It was exactly a month ago when 31-year-old trainee Dr. Abhaya was raped and murdered at Kolkata's RG Kar Medical College. Over 30 days later, the fight for justice for Abhaya is still going on. Junior doctors marched to the Swasthya Bhavan on Tuesday. They are demanding that the Bengal Health Secretary be sacked by the Mamata government. A fresh doctors versus Mamata government flashpoint is escalating. After the Bengal government told the Supreme Court on Monday that at least 23 people lost their lives due to the doctors' strike.
Well, it's We've also filed a report of the State Health Department. They've not gone back to work, the doctors. 23 people have died in the process.
The West Bengal Junior Doctors Front says patient services are operational in every medical college in the state. They've also accused the state government of spreading falsehoods and misleading the Supreme Court, and have called it a nefarious government effort to tarnish their movement and mislead the massive public support for it. Under fire, the Mamata Banerjee government is also facing flack from Abhaya's parents, who have repeatedly accused the Bengal cops of trying to bribe them, a charge denied by the Chief Minister herself.
কোথাও আমি টাকার কথা বলেছি, মেনশন করেছি, মিথ্যে কথা, কুৎসা, অপপ্রচার, চক্রান্ত। রেসিডেন্সিয়াল ডক্টর ফোরাম একটা অফিসিয়াল স্টেটমেন্ট করেছিল, তার 3 নম্বর পয়েন্টে লেখা ছিল adequate compensation to the victim's family.
আপনাদের যে ভিডিওটা নিয়ে এখনো বিতর্ক চলছে, সেখানে কিন্তু পুলিশ থেকে এখনো দাবি করা হচ্ছে যেটা তাদের পক্ষ থেকে করা হয়নি। আপনি কি আপনার দাবিতে এখনো নন?
তাদের পক্ষ থেকে করানো হয়নি মানে?
পুলিশ করেনি বলছে, পুলিশের
তরফ থেকেই করানো হয়েছে, সেটা আমরা নির্দিষ্ট জায়গায় বলে দিয়েছি, তারা বিচার করে তারা রিপোর্ট দেবে।
একদম মিথ্যে কথা বলেছেন উনি। টাকার অফার তো দেওয়াই হয়েছিল, কিন্তু সেটা তো মুখ্যমন্ত্রী মিথ্যে কথা বলছেন। উনি তো বলছেন পরিবার টাকা চেয়েছিল, কখনো চাইনি। বরং উনি বলেছিলেন আপনার মেয়ে তো একটা পাবে, ওটা দিয়ে মেয়ের স্মৃতির জন্য কিছু বানিয়ে রাখবেন। আমি বলেছিলাম দিদি তখনই নেব যখন আমার মেয়ে বিচার পাবে এবং দোষীদের সাজা হবে, তখন আমি নিজে গিয়ে আপনার দপ্তর থেকে নিয়ে আসবো।
এটাই উনি বলেছেন যে কোনো টাকার অফার করা হয়নি।
না, টাকার অফার তো অবশ্যই করা হয়েছে।
Meanwhile, the former principal of RaGa Sikh Medical College, who is under CBI arrest on charges of corruption, has been sent to judicial custody till 23rd September. Bureau Report, India Today.
With the festive season round the corner, domestic airfare prices are skyrocketing. While the centre is keeping a close eye, the government maintains there isn't much that can be done. Business Today does a spot check of return fares around Diwali. Here's what we found.
For those planning to fly home for Diwali, get ready to pay out of your nose. The Festival of Lights is more than 7 weeks away, but skyrocketing airfare already dampening the festive mood. A visit to a travel agent or airline website only leaves you with the prospect of coughing up extortionary airfares. Business Today did a spot check of return fare on various routes for the dates Wednesday, October 30th to Sunday, 3rd November. Diwali falls on Friday, 1st November this year. On metro routes, fare on these days were anywhere between 50 to 200% higher. We particularly avoided the red-eye flights. Bengaluru to Delhi return fare start at a whopping 25,000 rupees, while Hyderabad to Delhi were a little more affordable, but at 15,500 rupees. Tickets from Chennai to Delhi and back, however, start at 23,000 rupees. Non-metro routes like Mumbai, Patna, Mumbai, also ludicrously expensive at 30,000 rupees. Mumbai Lucknow return starts at 18,000 rupees. Interestingly, those beginning their holiday earlier on October 26th Saturday have to dish out even more. For this week-long break, Mumbai-Delhi return tickets start at 20,000 rupees, while the cost of Bengaluru-Delhi return ticket rises to 27,000 rupees. Chennai to Delhi tickets for this weekend travel start at 27,500 rupees. The government has taken cognizance of the issue but is unable to do much.
प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हम सीमित नहीं कर सकते, ये ऐसा लॉ नहीं है कि हम उसको एक सीमित रखें, वो मार्केट ड्रिवन चलता है। तो इस तरह जब डिमांड बढ़ जाता है तो उनके वहां से भी थोड़ा 1-2 बार हो जाता है, पर अभी तक हम मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं कि जब भी अगर कोई ऑफ द रिकॉर्ड प्राइस चला जाए, अगर जहां पे भी नजर आता है कि कहीं से कुछ ज्यादा ही प्राइस बढ़ रहा है, तो उस टाइम मिनिस्ट्री के तरफ से थोड़ा सजेस्टिवली जो करना होगा वो करेंगे।
It's not as if the travelers have other options available. Trains are already booked for the period, waiting list extending into hundreds. Indian Railways will be running some special trains, but the rush is so high that bookings on some route have already been closed. Experts blame the rise in airfare on the changing scenario in the Indian sky. Go Air, a major airline till 2 years ago, has folded wings. SpiceJet is financially strapped. 20-strong fleet of SpiceJet is literally flying on a wing and a prayer. The Indian airspace is now virtually a duopoly with Indigo on one side and the Tata-owned Air India Vistara combined and Air India Express AirAsia India on the other. And the spike in airfare is despite an 18% drop in aviation fuel prices this calendar year. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
This is where we wrap up the news track tonight. For your time and your trust, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you 8 p.m. tomorrow evening. Till then, from all of us here, goodbye, good night.